The Russian aggression on Ukraine and international law. What principles of international law are Russia breaking by the action of its eastern Ukraine? The annexation of Crimea in 2014 by Russia following the removal of Viktor Yanukovych as a president was the first major military flare-up in the Russia-Ukraine relations. The Crimean annexation by Russia was met with imposition of sanctions. However, Russia is still in occupation of Crimea, and post-2014 its activities have centered around fomenting separatists in the eastern Ukraine. In January 2021, the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky appealed the US to let join NATO, following which Russia started amassing troops near the borders of eastern Ukraine. Tensions escalated quickly from December 2021 when Russia demanded NATO to give up its military activities in the Eastern Europe and Ukraine, followed by a Russian cyber attack on the Ukrainian government website. On 2022 February, Russia recognized the self-declared Donetsk and Luhansk republics in the Donbas region in the eastern Ukraine and sent Russian troops to these territories. Finally, Russia launched a full-scale invasion on Ukraine. The Russian actions have been condemned widely and raised several questions concerning violation of the international law. So the question here is, how is Russia violating the UN Charter? The principle of non-intervention in domestic affairs is the foundation principle on which existing international order is based. The principle is enshrined in Article 2, Subclass 4 of the UN Charter, requiring states to refrain from using force or threat by using force against territorial integrity or political independence of any state. It prohibits any kind of forcible trespassing into the territory or another state, even if it is for temporary or limited operation such as in and out operation. The Russian attack on Ukraine is a violate or non-intervention principle and amounts to the aggression under the international law. The UN General Assembly Resolution 3314 in 1974 defines aggression as the use of armed force by the state against the sovereignty, territorial integrity or political dependence of the another state. Additionally, following one's territory to be used and other state for aggression against the third state also qualifies as an act of aggression. According to Belarus can also be held responsible for aggression as it allowed its territory to be used by Russia for attacking Ukraine. Aggression is also considered to be the international crime under the customary international law and the Rome Statute establishing the International Criminal Code. Russia's desire to keep Ukraine out of NATO is a prime reason for its use of force against Ukraine. This violates the Ukraine's political independence under the Article 2 Subclass 4 of Ukraine being a sovereign state is free to decide which organization it wants to join. Also, by resorting to use of force, Russia has violated Article 2 Subclass 3, which requires the state to settle their disputes by peaceful means in order to preserve international peace and security. So what about the principle of self-defense? So in the face of use of the force by Russia, Ukraine has a right to self-defense under the international law. The UN Charter under Article 51 authorizes a state that's a resort to individual or collective self-defense until the Security Council takes steps to ensure international peace and security. So in this case, it seems implausible for the UNSC to arrive at its decision as Russia is permanent member and has a veto power. However, Ukraine has several rights under international law to request assistance from other states in the form of military assistance, supply of weapons, etc. On the other hand, Russia has also claimed that it is acting in self-defense. This claim is questionable as there has been no use of force or such threats against Russia by Ukraine. It is claimed that Russia and the Ukraine may acquire nuclear weapons with the help of Western allies. However, International Court of Justice (ICJ) in the legality of threat of nuclear weapons case held that mere possession of nuclear weapons does not necessarily constitute a threat. Thus, if even Ukraine has or were to acquire nuclear weapons in the future, it does not become a ground for invoking self-defense by Russia. Further, mere membership in the defense alliance such as NATO cannot necessarily be considered as a threat of aggression against Russia. Thus, here too, Russia cannot involve self-defense. Russia can also not invoke anticipatory self-defense such as invocation according to the Caroline test conducted would require the necessity of self-defense was instant, overwhelming, leaving no choice of means and no moment of deliberation. However, this is not the case with Russia. So this is regarding the Russian aggression and Ukraine and the international law. What are the principles of international law and why Russia is breaking its action of the eastern Ukraine? Thank you for your time. Have a great day.